Good morning. First off, it's all about the U. Today, in the 10th part of the 12-part series of our 2010 opponents, I'll talk about a team that won the ACC title last year, and that's the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Our opponent on November 13th up at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Some background on the Jackets: they went 11-3 in 2009, including 7-1 in the Coastal, and they won the ACC title at Raymond James Stadium, defeating Clemson for the second time. Last season, 39-34, but they lost in the Orange Bowl Classic to Iowa, 24-14. In a game they were just thoroughly dominated. They are coached by Paul Johnson, who is entering his third season as the head coach in Atlanta. His record is 20-7 as Jackets coach, with one ACC title, of course, that being last season. The MO of Paul Johnson is the running game. More specifically, it's the triple option. That worked at Georgia Southern, winning national championships there, and it worked at Navy, and it's working. It's working in Atlanta with Georgia Tech now. So the man can coach, folks. That's just simply put. The man can simply coach. On offense, they'll return 6 starters, led by senior Josh Nesbitt, who in 2009 rushed for over 1,000 yards, and they have a very capable backup in Washington. So you might think they can be better there. The running game, even with Dwyer gone to the league, they have a very capable back in Anthony Allen, who can easily have a 1,000-yard plus season in Johnson's triple option offense. And they return a 2008 starter in Lucas Cox, who didn't play that much last season, and with Roddy Jones, who was hurt for most of last season. But when healthy, this is a back that can just kill you with big plays. He did that in 2008 against us. However, they do lose to graduation 3 starters on the offensive line, so others are going to have to step up and produce. And this is still a very good line, folks, with the return of Omoreji Uzi, who, from what I understand, is a man among boys when it comes to run blocking, and Phil Smith. They also have an All-ACC center returning in Sean Bedford. However, depth-wise, if anyone on that line that gets hurt, it will be a major hit because they are very, very thin there. What people might forget about Georgia Tech is that they have a passing game. Not much of one, but it's there. However, their best wide receiver from 2009, and that had over 1,000 yards receiving, is gone graduation in Demarius Thomas. So sophomore Stephen Hill, who only caught 6 passes for 144 yards last year, will really have to step up and make the big plays that Thomas routinely did for them in key spots. You don't replace a 1,000-yard receiver the way Thomas was overnight. I mean, can Hill be that guy? We'll see. Defensively, this might be the weak link early on. However, they return 6 starters from the 2009 team, and they add former Virginia head coach Al Groh to institute the 3-4. That made him successful in Charlottesville for a lot of years before the final 2 down years that ultimately led to this dismissal as Cavs head coach. Derek Morgan has gone to graduation along with his 12.5 sacks from 2009. But returning are juniors Logan Walls and Jason Peters, as well as sophomore Izan Cross. Now, other than Peters, they have very limited starting experience, but this is still some players that are going to have to gel on the line in Groh's system. But where Groh's system really needs to work will be at linebacker. It doesn't hurt to have Brad Jefferson back, who led the team with 95 tackles in 2009, and he'll be moving to the inside in Groh's scheme. And the other spot will either go to redshirt freshman Brandon Watts or junior Kyle Jackson, who's back after suffering a foot injury that robbed him of his 2009 season and all of the spring. Also returning to play in Groh's 3-4 scheme on the outside are Anthony Egbunike with 19 tackles, 12 solo, and 2.5 tackles for loss last year, and senior A.T. Barnes, who had 16 tackles in 2009. And they have a very capable backup that they're very, very high on in true freshman Anthony Williams. But here, like with the offensive line, If anyone gets hurt, they are very thin depth-wise. So the key for Georgia Tech basically is stay healthy. Now, of the 6 returning players on defense, 5 of them are in the secondary. Their best player from 2009, Morgan Burnett, and his 4 interceptions are gone to graduation, but they return third-team All-ACC corner Gerard Tarrant, who was going to move over to free safety in 2010. Last year, Tarrant had 58 tackles, 39 solo, and 2 interceptions. But they're very high on Isaiah Johnson, who could be a force right away at the safety spot, should Tarrant or Edwards struggle. They returned seniors Mario Butler, who had 2 interceptions last year and 45 tackles, Dominique Reese, who had 28 tackles, and Mario Edwards, who had 36 in 2009. The bottom line about Georgia Tech, guys, is this is a team, while not as good as 2009, obviously, this is a team that is still loaded and very dangerous. See, once Grove gets his system in place, this is going to be a team that's going to be a serious national championship contender on a consistent basis. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Johnson can coach, okay? Now, I was a little skeptical about Paul Johnson when he first came to Atlanta to coach the Jackets, saying his system wouldn't work and all that. Let me tell you something. I'm now a believer in Paul Johnson. Let me tell you something. That man can simply flat out coach. Okay? People think this is a gimmick. This is a dangerous team, folks. This is a very dangerous team. Now they're gonna get 2 good tests. They're gonna go to Kansas early, at Kansas, but Kansas a little down, and at Virginia Tech will be the bigger one in conference before our game with them. So we're gonna know a lot about Georgia Tech early, especially when they go to Kansas, and then go to Virginia Tech later in the year. From a CANES perspective, this is a game that worries me because it's late in the year. If this game were early in the year, then I wouldn't have as much concern as I do with it being later, like in November. Yes, we won at Sun Life Stadium last year, but that was in Game 2 with 9 days to prepare for the triple option. This year, not only do we not have that luxury of the extra 2 days, but Georgia Tech will have the extra time off coming off that Thursday night game the week before at Virginia Tech. And my fellow Canes, I do not need to remind you of our last visit to Atlanta. Okay? That was in 2008. We were ranked for the first time, and we gave up 472 yards rushing, which was, as I'm not mistaken, the 3rd most ever in the history of Canes football. If we are to win, we need to be disciplined on D, and most importantly, not turn the ball over. And speaking of defense, tomorrow the talk will turn to a team that won the ACC title in 2007 and 2008, and that would be the Virginia Tech Hokies. I'll see you then, and as always, go Canes.